Still thinking we're live.
Hi, and welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Nitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 374. 374. I like it when the numbers can kind of add up to each other. Seven's in the middle, three in the four equals seven. I don't know. Something fun about that. Something fun about that. The chat has Claire, Valerie, and Nikki out there talking about sweaters and Muselburrows in the Megan made me do it category. So, yeah. Yep. How's it been?
Pretty good. Good weather, been working out, I don't know, it's just been kind of a normal week. Nothing much, nothing new, nothing crazy.
End of August has definitely creeped up on me. Somebody was commenting in one of my, we talk about things in quarters for whatever reason. And in my business, one of the project managers like, yeah, we said we were going to do this fourth quarter and that's like a couple of weeks away. And again, I was like, shut your mouth. Like, seriously, fourth quarter is a couple of weeks away. So yeah, there's that.
I was like thinking, is it really a couple weeks away? Not really, but depends.
September, right?
Well, but the end of September, right? Because you have October, November. Yeah. It would be the end of September.
I think she was prepping meetings for that, but yeah.
That's okay. I was just, like you said, it kind of freaked me out. I'm like, it's nowhere near the fourth quarter. I feel a whole month.
Yeah, you got a third of a quarter. You've got a third of a quarter buffer before you're like officially in freak out mode. But
yeah, exactly. But and then we're gonna hear tonight if Cookie we'll be able to pick her up on Saturday or Sunday, so that's nice.
Well, that's good. That's good news. Good news. Yeah, it's been, again, I feel bad for anybody that is not enjoying our atypical cool temperatures, but in the 70s here, which is like ultimately my happy spot, right? Like I'll take 60s over 80s, but 70s is kind of my happy spot. So we've been enjoying some cooler temperatures, and it's definitely got me wanting to make all of the sweaters. Yeah, I don't know. I went out and I want to say I meticulously checked my pile of FOs to make sure that I hadn't already talked about them, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of repeats of the Muselburrow. And and I'm like, nope, I haven't talked about these. But it's definitely sweater season, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it with the cooler temps. I'm feeling it with all the yarn staring at me going like, I should be a sweater. But just a little bit of administrati. We have a game night on Friday, which is super exciting. I think I'm going to put like maybe a voting thread out there, or kind of taking of ideas. We have done the Jackbox games, and those are really fun. But just interested in if other people have done other online games that were fun, or if we want to do oldies but goodies. You Don't Know Jack is always fun, and Drawful and Quiplash, and we haven't done that in a while. So if people want to do something familiar versus new. So
yeah, then, there's definitely an online bingo game that I've played. I don't know if we would have, it's a small fee if we'd have to buy the cards, but it was pretty slick, I must say.
Excellent. And then, just a heads up. I know that we've been on a drought here as far as speakers / classes, and I am pounding the pavement there and trying to get those lined up. It's just, there's always kind of a lag. So, I'm really excited about the folks that I've reached out to, and a couple of folks have reached out to us, which is super exciting. And Yeah. Also, tis the season. A lot of the ZKN membership renewals are going out.
Mhm.
So check your inbox. If you didn't get the weekly email, you may have gotten an email from me saying, hey, July or early August, your membership was up for renewal. And I'm processing those pretty quickly. So if you're missing the email and you wanted to jump on the VKN tonight, go out there and get your membership in, and I'll get it to you pretty quickly. But also excited about the logo. Have a couple of items that I'm working on there for this year's new logo, as well as swag. Um, and yeah, we've got exciting stuff going on with ZK as well, right, Amy?
Yeah, so I did go out and announce our days when we will offer our signups. And if you're a vendor that's interested in our marketplace, that application is already out there. So go out to the Zombie Apocalypse website and take a look at those dates and make sure you mark your calendars for when we're going to announce signups for the public, as well as our ZKN tiered announcements. So those are going to be coming up here in September, not too far
Yeah.
away.
Super exciting. And we are like, that's what I was going. We're so close to being able to announce prior to signups this year who our speaker will be, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, the contract is out. I'm probably going to be sending a reminder at the end of this week. So, yep, hopefully, as soon as that gets signed, we'll be shouting it from the rooftops. It's a
Absolutely.
really exciting
Absolutely.
one. And again, we have a verbal agreement. We just need the contract, and then we can say, yay, and let you all know who it is. And we're pretty excited. We even have a theme with a logo because we had the mug situation last year. So we have the logo early. We have a theme early. Oh, it's so exciting.
We're in a new posh setting.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's 2023. Again, knock on wood. It's looking pretty awesome right now. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're have vended with us in the past, something new that's happening because of the way that the venue is laid out and how we have to do things, we will have the ability to set up your vendor booth the night before, which I know that I have gotten several messages that is amazing and exciting because we've always had this weird ballroom flip thing. Well, now the new venue is so big that we can have two ballrooms at the same time. And so that's kind of nice. We'll have ballroom for people and a ballroom for vendors on that Friday night so that people can get set up and ready
Also,
to
a
rock and roll.
dedicated elevator, which I know
Oh,
has been an issue in the past, right? So, yeah.
yeah, that's all additional stuff this year. So yeah, dedicated elevator. And yeah, there's going to be multiple ways to load in, probably more of a scheduled load in. So a little bit more organizing on my side, but definitely going to be smoother for the vendors. So
Yeah, all exciting things, all exciting things. And I know a couple people in our chats on Wednesdays have mentioned they're excited about the ability to go have, kind of a larger, like the same room, right? The conference room, and with the tables and rounds during the market as well. If you need to
yeah,
take, take a second or go share, right? Like now it's kind of hallways and hotel rooms and that kind of side conference room, but to go show and share, right? Like this is what I got.
yes. Well,
So
and maybe not everybody has heard because we've been kind of talking about it every chance we get. The new ballroom has floor to ceiling windows. So
yes.
those of you who like to go out and knit outside or get natural lighting and whatnot, we'll have that right there in the ballroom, and we won't have to like go searching for it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Natural light in the eyeballs often lifts my mood. So less of like a Las Vegas feel. You're just inside all day, every day, and more of a like, oh, I'm in a Why can't I think of it?
Fishbowl?
With like not a light. I keep on thinking lighthouse. I'm thinking of where you grow plants with all of the windows.
Greenhouse.
Yeah, greenhouse. Not a lighthouse, a greenhouse.
Yeah. Well, and
So
beautiful city views. I'm kind of excited to see that transition, right? When we get into the evening hours, that'll be really exciting as well, being able to look out on the city. So anyway,
yes,
all that to say that things are moving and we have some
tell we're
things
a
up
little
there.
excited
So
about it. We'll probably chat about it. But yeah. Anything else as far as administrati? Not that I can think of. Okay.
no,
Let's chat FOs then.
okay. I only have 3, so I'm wearing this one. I've probably talked about it a lot in whips, but we have the lovely, what is it, Velocore? And it's in a lovely Gems Lux fiber, fingering weight. I don't remember the colors. I apologize, but it's beautiful minty green with a mustardy yellow. And then I have a purple stripe that was some leftover wool mice. So some really old stash leftovers. And I really like it. This is its first wearing outside. So that's exciting. And then I also have finished up some socks. These have just been my on-the-go knitting.
I love those colors.
Yeah. So this is like a zombie colorway from Show Me Yarns that they did. So you can see that it has the OMG heel on it, and yeah. So I have 2 other striped socks that are on the needles that are kind of my on-the-go projects. One woolen and nosh, and one it was fiber nymph. It was the orange colorway that we had for the retreat a while back. Still haven't finished those. I think that they're my on the go that ends up staying in one spot. So I don't get to knit on it as much, but it's exciting. And then last but very certainly not least, I finally got this book done. So
pretty.
So the knitting is finished, and I am I want to say a good 50 to 60% of the way through weaving in the ends. So as you can imagine, I apologize.
They're on the
can't see
inside.
thing.
You're never going to reverse it, right?
Well, so these here are right on the edge. So I got to get those done. And then there are the armhole ones because it was worked flat in the front on both sides. So both armpits have, one side that's got the tassels. But I did get all of the sleeves, the internal sleeves. So, no ends here. These were all done. But then you got these ends here that are along the sides of the working flat. So it's a lot of ends. I say 50 to 60 because, yeah, they're both sleeves, both fronts, and then, yeah, the one side went all the way up. So while, it still looks like I have a lot to go, I did this. And then somewhere over here, I started going up here by the collar so that I could just wear it and have some or less flyaways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully that'll get done. Again, I swear I worked on it for hours and I was like, I'm still not done. Because I'm, carefully, duplicate stitching in some places because I don't want too much of a thick edge to end up in that seam.
Yeah, I would say that like my only recommendation on that is as I've been doing scrappy things, I am taking moments to like weave them in. But when you've got that collar edge, you really don't want to weave them in before you've picked up because you might accidentally pick up where you had woven in an end, right? And then you lose that that stitch and it's just not good. So generally you want to pick up on the edge and then weave the ends in. So that would have done you no good.
Right. So when I got to the sleeve, I was doing a little bit of that, right? Weaving them in as I went on the sleeve, but you're right. Until I had picked up, there was no weaving in those ends. So, and the collar, well, you can do it in any order, but the collar was the last thing that I worked on. So, you know, it ended up needing to wait to get done. But yeah,
somewhere along the line, I quit posting modeled pictures of my FOs. So it's going to be very, you know, pot kettle here. But the, I would love to see a picture of you wearing that, like full, see how it looks on you.
And I can get that done. It's one of those things where like lighting, mirror, camera person, I don't know. Every time I thought about doing it, it was like mirror selfie, not the greatest. So it is quite oversized. I am not a huge fan of this super decrease that happens from that oversized arm down because you get a lot of extra fabric in here. But it is, I don't know, it's an homage to somebody who loves yarn and color and playing with colors in yarn. I think that, you know, you just get joy looking at it, right? So it's going to be a favorite regardless of its minor shaping flaws, because it's just such a brilliant idea to showcase all of this color.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And again, I think that this was a nitty gritty. She does the wreaths, so you can see the colors and how they transition into each other. So when she lays them out there in a circle, so you can see how the start of it blends into the end of it, so that you know that it will fade between the two and work out really nicely. And she does, I don't know that she plans these out, but she definitely builds them, because I've seen these other colors, or these colors in other circles with different complementing colors. So I love it.
Yeah, no, if you saw somebody walking down the street wearing that, which I hope to someday, you would definitely take notice, right? It's very striking, Amy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the muggles might look at me a little crazy in it. It's so bright and stripy and oversized, and but the people that appreciate it are my kind of people. So it'll bring them in.
Yeah, for sure. And also just, I don't know. If you're somebody that wants to look like every other person out there, I don't know. I'm sure that there are plenty of people that do that, but I do feel like as handcrafters, we enjoy being able to make our pieces unique to us and not exactly like something off the rack, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that compared to this beautifulness that somebody might compliment me on thinking it was store-bought, this one's gonna be like
a little less. That one's a little more,
They'll be like, this is interesting. And again, whoever appreciates my Technicolor sweater, my kind of people.
A good litmus test of like, okay, exactly. You and I could be friends.
Exactly.
Well, I was trying to not get us slapped with a explicit podcast label, but I was like, I have a pile of what I would call mostly finished objects, mofos. So yeah, this is the problem of not being monogamous and just starting a project and finishing it, right? So I'm like, oh, I had 2 sweaters that they're not on the needles anymore, right? One needs to be assembled. My Penelope needs to be assembled. And my other one, I could wear it right now, but I'm going to put a hood on it, right? So my no sweatshirt needs a hood put on it. Yeah, it's so it's like, well, they're mostly finished, but maybe I'll have like a wonderful finished object episode like you just had, where I'll have several sweaters by the next time we podcast, because I do have these pieces sitting here just waiting to be but in general, I think that that's why I became a monogamous knitter, really, was because I enjoyed getting to that finished object. And also why I primarily enjoy seamless knits, right? Because there is no like, I don't know, I just have to be in the right frame of mind to sew that sleeve into the Penelope so that I can do the neckband and finish it up, right? Like I can't just do it willy-nilly. Like I have to be in a meticulous, I can focus, I'm not going to put it down. I've got, dedicated time type scenario. And I've obviously not had that.
No, I agree. I have the same issue with sewing pieces together. You do want to be in a focused time frame, and if there are adjustments that you may decide, you want to remember them and do them into side B. And even if you wrote them down, you're going to miss something. So you need that dedicated time, that dedicated mental energy to do it.
Yeah.
Completely understand.
So instead, I cast on another thing with the no sweatshirt and got it to a point where it was like, oh, now I got to pick up stitches, which is again, like you want to do similar, between the two. And so it's sat down. And again, I'm just, all the space in between those, like the interstitial fluid is mucil burrows, which is the only thing that I have to show that I finished. So
that was all a preamble to say I only have hats.
And you're going to see a bunch of mucil burrows. Another one. People have been asking me the count. I do not know the count currently. I'm not going to count currently. I'm just going with it. And as I get closer to gifting season, I probably will do counts. But I think you guys saw this as a work in progress, or maybe while I was mentioning work in progresses. I did post my recipe. So just a call out on Instagram. It was too long for the initial post. So it's a comment to my post. But I posted my Lola Bean Trolla mucil burrow, and underneath in the comments is kind of my recipe of how I've done this. And I should probably copy and paste it into my Ravelry project. That is mucil burrow times infinity. It's just where all of the stuff is going. So, gray, and then kind of this, speckle, believe the speckle went into my recalibrate. And this was just a leftover. So there's that one. And then I used the other half of this same gray skein for this orange one. So you can see, again, I started with, I think I talked about it in tips and tricks, because I was saying I started with the resource that I had the least of, and then had to transition to more of the orange down here. But this orange it was a copper corgi, and it's an interesting base. I believe it's, of course, the base is going to completely, it's one that you've talked about. It's really good to spin, like one of your first spins.
I don't know. Rambouillet, Targhee, Cormo, Polworth.
Anyway, Polworth. Yep. So that ends that one. The other half of the orange, you'll just see like how they tie together, went in with a blue. So, started down here and then transitioned into the blue.
Yeah, I got that Mankato 50/50 set, and I'm definitely going to be making a with that.
Yeah. It's so fun. Again, it's just, I really enjoy using all the scraps, right? So my scrap bin has been, definitely foraged, and anything that I've got 50 grams of can become a hat. I think that blue was the end of the blue as well. But I had a Lorna's Laces zombie barbecue
Oh,
that I
wow.
mixed with a black, right? So kind of, you can see it spiraled there. But a lot of fun with the red and kind of that zombie green and how it mixes with the black. So kind of went on a, I think I was like, I'm getting my proportion of darker color or more feminine, lighter pinks, whatever. Not that men won't wear pink hats. I know that they will, but the kind of safer bet when you're gifting something. So I went on a kick where I was doing more of the more masculine colors. And then yeah, the Diabolical Flower Shop Inferno, I think maybe was this one, mixed with a lighter blue. And I think this lighter blue was actually a Nitpicks that was more of a chroma, like it went from a light to a dark. So
You can see
it's
that.
not as obvious when you're striping it, but like if you compare one end to the other, you're like, oh yeah, that's that. Or you can see it in the middle here, right? It's very light here, but it's very dark there. So that was kind of fun to mix a variegated with a with kind of a tonal that, or a gradient. That's what I was thinking, a gradient. And then this one was, you can see the leftovers from this sweater that I'm wearing. And it was the end of that blue, that kind of steely blue tonal. So yeah, a lot of fun. I really am enjoying finding ways to mix variegateds with the solids that I've got. Again, just kind of an interesting challenge. This one, there's no, like the variegation has none of the tonal or the gradient. And so you just really see those stripes, right? They just really jump out at you. But yeah, so including the one on my head. Oh, there's 6 musical here. When I get stuck on repeat, I just really get stuck on repeat, Is there anything wrong with that? I don't.
No.
People's heads will be warm.
Yes, they will. Yeah, I mean, again, it fits, right? It's something you can quite quickly grab. You can kind of do that stash diving, so it's fun to start a new one.
Yep.
And for you, it didn't take very long. I feel like my Musa Burl took forever, but it was also seemed like it was oversized. So I think I might try again. Of course,
I go to 112. It fits my husband's head. And then as I wrote up in my instructions, I'm doing this 6-row striping repeats 14 times before I switch over, and I do a 6 rows in the middle so that this is always the edge, no matter which side you're on. That seems long enough that you can flip up and have a brim. It seems slouchy enough on my head, but not like too taut on my husband's head. So this is as close as I have gotten to like a universal size. But yeah, I could see if you made it super long so that you had a lot of slouch, or if you made it like super big around. I guess the only other thing with me going to that 112, that's 28 per quarter when you're doing those crown increases. And it does look like it will be really small on the needles when you get to that point. But I feel like there is a great deal of stretch. Yeah.
Oh, hands down, for sure. Because I did it thinking there wouldn't be that much stretch, right? So when I made the one that I thought would fit my head, it is oversized. And I don't have a small head. So I will definitely.
That's probably why it took forever, Amy.
Yes, but I will be switching, like, I think for my next one to be a smaller circumference for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really slouchy and it just feels really ethereal and warm when I'm wearing it. So it's not a bad hat. I just think that it was kind of a drag.
The other point I'll make is that I do knit these on US 3s. Most of the sock head hats with fingering are like 2s, 2.5s, right?
Mm.
But I figure it can afford to be a little airy because it's two-sided, right? Like this,
Yep.
it's not that single layer of fabric.
Yep.
It's 2 layers of fabric. So even if it is a little airier on that single, it's never going to be worn that way, right? So kind of purposely making it kind of a looser gauge. Because I mean, if you wanted a super duper, like if you were in, up in Canada, Robin Sparkles going to the mall when it's negative 30 degrees out. Yeah, you would probably want to do it a little denser, but for our purposes, I think that, yeah, that the gauge, and I can post the gauge as well. I just realized I didn't do that. So
Yeah, I've been revisiting my long summer cardigan. So
with the beautiful, yeah.
Another epic project, though. I'm diving from one giant cardigan to another giant cardigan in fingering weight yarn, but it'll be worth it.
Didn't discourage you, huh?
No, it didn't. And this is only 2 colors, so hardly any ends. There are ends, don't get me wrong, there are ends because of those little stripes. They get broken up by larger chunks of solid, so I can't carry it per se. I could carry it in some spots, but not every. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I'm also on a sweater quick kick, trying to get through things that I've started and haven't put any smaller projects on the needles. So yeah, I might need to do that. Yeah, a hat does sound like a fun thing because I'm going to just use those 12-inch circulars. Go.
I think I also kind of get addicted in the same way that like socks are, right? Like you just kind of get this like bam feeling, right? It's not this slog of like, okay, and now I have to put sleeves on this, and now I have to put this collar. Like it's just like cast it on, work on it when you've got spare time, bam. Like I don't know. I mean, and I know that it's not necessarily a super bam, like it's not like a bulky weight hat bam, especially the way that I'm doing it. It's just yeah, something addicting about it, whether it's the stripes or using the leftovers or playing with color. The fact that I can do small circumference needles and just knit and add stripes here and there. It's also quantifiable, right? I'm not like with the stripes, I'm not just measuring, right? Okay, now how long, whatever, I can go, okay, I'm at stripe number 8 of 14 before I know that I'm starting so all the reasons why stripes are addictive and other things apply when you're making them in Muselboro as well.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out what to do with my fade. I did see that Amba has a new shawl pattern that was 50% off, or I don't know how new it was. It ended up being in the hot right now. So I was like, oh, I'll buy this one, just because it was on sale. And it does look like a really, not clever, just a really nice use of a large fade.
Yeah, I don't know. I've pulled a couple of the skeins out to possibly make a color work something. And I feel like I'm not wasting their fadiness because they'll be close to each other in this color work, and that's that works into the color work and having multiple color works, but colors in that color work that are in the same family. But I do kind of have that like, oh, it'd be really nice to like use them all in this fade in some way kind of feeling. It's like breaking up a sweater quantity almost, but it's like breaking up a fade, right? So
yeah,
I hear you wanting to find the
my
special.
fade is quite large right now, so
oh yeah,
I could just take a nice look at it and go 2 fades or 3 fades.
Break it into quarters.
quarters, yes. I think I might have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was actually thinking of doing a larger fade on a shawl and then using the leftovers from the shawl fade to do a sweater fade. But dual use, right? It's going to be similar colors, but 2 different projects. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Dreaming.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe in an upcoming work in progress
Yeah.
episode for sure.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Ufta. All right.